Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the instant match reaction. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0. A pretty poor game down at Selhurst Park, let's say. A game that felt like it was there for the taking, if I'm honest. About an hour into the game, we just looked at it and thought, this is there. These aren't that arsed. These don't look that bothered. And then a game that finishes probably happy with a point, because obviously Mason Holgate was sent off 2 bookable offences. How the manager never saw that coming, I'll never know. And why the manager persists on playing players at right back who aren't right backs instead of putting a right back in there is beyond me. I know some football, I know some managers have players they trust, and this manager certainly has players he trusts. Why he's not? Why Michael Keane's playing instead of Yerry Mina is beyond me. Is absolutely beyond me. But listen, we defended okay. We defended okay when we went down to 10 men, to be honest. They've only had 2 shots on target, and there's nothing really there that Jordan Pickford's had to actually make a worldie from. The disappointing part for me for today is that they were there for the taking. They had signed off. They've got 37 points now. They had 36 before the game. They didn't look that arsed, if I'm honest. And that's the disappointing factor in there. And again, we haven't created chances, have we? That's really... Iwobi's had a decent effort in the first half, push wide. Dominic Calvert-Lewin from a long ball has created... From Pickford, sorry. Has created something out of nothing. A brilliant spin. And then just put it wide of the post. But we haven't created anything again against the team now. As I said, didn't look that arsed, I'll be honest. And I just think the manager got it completely wrong on the Mason Holgate situation. He'd been booked early on for something that was stupid more than anything. He'd lost Ayew, basically, and then he was poor during the game, and it was always bound to happen. It wasn't a major, incident or anything, but his general defending was just awful all day, and that's what happens when you pick a player to play right back that hasn't played for most of the season. It's as simple as that. I just thought it was a really poor decision, and the manager's decision making since we lost the Corey has just been really, really poor, and obviously leading to only us picking up one point from the 3 games. I think it's been really poor. He hasn't had the clue how to deal with it, and obviously losing Seamus Coleman as well is added to that. But he just hasn't had a clue how to deal with the situation whatsoever. He just, without having that man, it looked a little bit better early on in this game. We were sort of playing a 4-2-3-1, and it looked a little bit better. But then Iwobi, Gray, McNeil, they just drift out the game. They don't actually add anything. They don't really create any chances. As I said, Iwobi had a really good effort at goal, but I just look at I can't for the life of me understand what the manager is doing. He did have sort of his perfect setup with the Corey in there, but how can you not see that Holgate was getting absolutely destroyed, even from a footballing point of view, even from a we need to be better here. Why wouldn't you put Ben Godfrey? You started Ben Godfrey there last week. You started Ben Godfrey at left back, so why wouldn't you bring him on after about an hour and say, right, Mason, you're done for today. You're on a yellow card. We don't want to take any chances. Mason Holgate wasn't having a particularly good game, was he? And he hasn't, and he's left them again, and it's what he tends to do. Sean Dyche, it's what he tends to do. And people might say, well, why are you having a go at the manager, not having a go at the team? Because the team's poor. We know the team's poor. The manager was brought in to make those kinds of decisions. He's made decisions so far that, are on him, aren't they, in terms of like bringing Michael Keane back in, bringing Decore into the midfield. They're decisions he's made for the team, rightly or wrongly. Certainly got the Decore one right. But I think you have to. I think you have to be. You have to look at the big picture there. And as I said, I think he got it completely wrong on that one. The game itself, it was, as I said, it was a bit of a nothing game. It just needed someone after about an hour to grab hold of it by the scruff of the neck, and we don't have those players, sadly. We don't have those players available to us who've got that ability, who can do that, who can change the game. As I said, and I say quite consistently, Iwobi, Damari Gray, McNeil, they just don't offer you anything creatively in the final third. They don't keep hold of the ball. We give the ball away far too much. We don't build up the play, and it leads to obviously games like that where you can't build up any momentum during the game of football. And I think if we could do that, it would lead us to go on and create more chances, obviously. And obviously more chances we have of scoring. But that's the major worry I have, is, again, the goal scoring threat just isn't there. And we've got tougher games coming up. Crystal Palace is one of our more winnable games for the rest of the season, with the likes of Newcastle coming up, Manchester City, Brighton away. Leicester's going to be obviously a very tough game. They've won today, and that's put us in the bottom three. We've gained a point on Leeds. We've gained a point over on Forest. So they're positives. Thursday's a huge game now. We have to, on Thursday, obviously get something against Newcastle. It's going to be a really tough game. But obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, another 90 minutes. 90 minutes. That's good news. Long as there's no issues off the back of it. Thursday's going to be an absolutely humongous game. Now, it's one that you look at, and when you look at the games that we've got left, and obviously our away form is absolutely it's embarrassing. Our away form, absolutely embarrassing, and the form in general is embarrassing. 1 win in 9 is when other teams have been picking up the wins. The likes of obviously Wolves and obviously the likes of Bournemouth and Crystal Palace have pulled away from us with picking up wins rather than just draws. But what disappointed me, as I said, was with about an hour to go. It was an hour gone. It was, to me, how much did we want it? How much were we willing to risk? And it didn't. This team is caught, I imagine, at times of thinking, well, a point would be a good result here. And obviously the manager is a very pragmatic manager, even though the stats are that we've actually improved attacking-wise rather than defensively since he came in. But Thursday's huge now, absolutely huge. Obviously there's midweek games, and there's obviously some really big games during the week that will obviously, by the time we get to Thursday, could make things obviously even worse. Leeds play Leicester, which is absolutely huge on Tuesday. Forest are at home to Brighton. West Ham have got Liverpool at home. And then on Thursday, obviously, it's us and Newcastle. Southampton play Bournemouth. Southampton at home, with obviously last night's point against Arsenal will obviously be big on their minds. But it is what it is. Listen, we were down to 10 men for the last 10 minutes, and we've dug in and we've got a point. It is what it is. Listen, I'm under no illusions about this side. This side is poor. Anyone who watches me regularly knows how I feel about this side. I'm not delusional. This is a very, very poor side that is going to have to. It's going to take some goals from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Let's not kid ourselves. That's why everyone's been looking at when he'll be back and asking the question every single week of when he'll be back, because he is so important. He gives us a figurehead. He can make chances, a chance out of nothing. And as I said earlier, the chance he had today, that he just put wide, that was fashioned out of nothing. And maybe if he's a little bit sharper, that ends up in the back of the net. But we get a point. And as I said, it's on to Thursday now, and that has become just absolutely humongous. When you look, the next game after that at home will be Manchester City, and then it's Bournemouth on the last day of the season. So, sadly, we are in the bottom three now. We are in the bottom three on goal difference. Leicester have got a better goal difference on us by 9. We're a point behind Leeds. They've got a better goal difference behind us, 1. who knows? Maybe Leeds get beaten the week and we get a draw. And that puts us above us. It's going to be fine margins for the next few games, I imagine. That 5, I think, is still the 5 that'll be there or thereabouts for the rest of the season. Obviously, for Leicester, that's a huge moral boosting result today, coming from behind to win. That's huge for them, and it has got them out the bottom 3. So there you go. I'll be back soon to do my player ratings. Baz will be doing his videos as well, so make sure you check out them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.